Hello, everyone, and welcome to GGNA. This is the Advanced Division Crab Mafia versus 07 Xenon. I'm here with one of the GOATs, in my opinion, Korbeck. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. Looking forward to the match today, Joker. Some good Overwatch for your Sunday afternoon or evening, I guess, depending on where it may be.
Yeah, it should be a really good game. We were looking at some of their some things about each of these teams before we started, and an interesting thing: Crab Mafia is in the advanced division, but they're saying that they have a couple of plats, which is really interesting to see that they're still playing in this advanced division, and hopefully they get and they're doing well. They're 2-1,
Yeah.
Korvac.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, both of these teams are 2-1 actually. So, a bit of a battle for sort of status, I should say, is on the line here and standings, what have you. It's interesting to note that kind of perfusion of plats over there. It is one like 3,800 player, and then I think the next closest SR they have on site is 3,100. So a bit of a skill gap there, but not anything too terrible. I mean, teams that are doing well, right, presumably are doing well because they are playing well, and perhaps they've just found a system that worked for them. But certainly, you have to try and think that it's going to have some sort of impact when you look at the other side. 07 Xenon, I mean, they've got a top score of 3,600. It looks like the average is about between 3,400 and maybe 3,300 if we took it and did the math. It has to have an impact somewhere, Joe.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll have to see. The first map of the evening, gonna be Lijiang Tower. That is our week 2 map of choice to start things off with. And I've been saying it throughout the weekend. It's a great map to start on. So many different variations of compositions that can be run. And it really sets the table for things to come.
Yeah, it's a map that both of these teams has listed as their favorite control map, and I think a lot of Overwatch players in general would say that Lijiang Tower was their favorite control map, just because, like you said, there is such a kind of diversity of points, right? It allows for the playing of a lot of different characters and some different strategies, but I mean, obviously, things have kind of boiled down a little bit over the past couple of, well, years to the point where you see certain characters getting played more. The Sim Teleporter still being very much in play here, probably one of the kind of defining plays of a lot of these maps where you get that early out on the Sim Teleport and head in. I was watching some teams play this over in the collegiate level over at NEC earlier this week, and it was a very similar setup, a lot of brawling inside Control Center with sort of Junkrat Sim compositions, whereas on the outside maps such as Garden, you have a lot more room for flyers. So it's interesting to see if teams do choose to bring an Echo and a Pharah along, but all in all, I mean, it does offer a lot of variety in terms of its play.
Yeah, definitely. And I do think we have the readies from the team, so we can go in whenever we're ready to go in. And I'm really excited to see where we start off with, because like you were saying, specifically on Control Center, we're probably going to see that brawl going into that. It's just, you think about Lijiang Tower, you think about the points. That Control Center is always brawl. Like you were saying, that Junkrat Sim, I also saw that this morning when I was casting EU. And it's a lot. It's an aggressive composition. You can get so much damage done with those DPS, and if that's run today, it should be run pretty well.
It does rely a certain extent on sustainability, though, within the composition. That means that a lot of pressure is put on your support player, specifically your kind of main support player, your Baptiste, usually in this day and age, to keep the team up and keep them going. And it was one thing that I noticed when I was watching teams play this point earlier this week was that the team with the better Baptiste really had the distinct advantage here. It especially applies to Symmetra, right? Of all the characters, she's the one that I think needs time to cook up to a full damage beat. And if you can get her to there, she's absolutely devastating. But in order to get to that point, you really do need very careful usage of the immortality field and really solid sustain on the heals.
Yeah, and we're already seeing right now, we're seeing that Junkrat being teased by both of these squads, but the Reaper being hovered by Crab Mafia right now.
It's interesting they're gonna bring the Reaper in here. Initially, when I saw it, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know about that, right? I do think his Symmetra will, perhaps, given the time, out damage the Reaper here, but I just don't know about the effectiveness of a Sigma off tank going into that Reaper. That seems like you could be having a bit of a rough time.
Yeah, definitely. We're already getting the pick. Bill already starting it off, getting tore out of this fight. That is a lot of damage gone for the side of Crab Mafia, and they're already backing up and trying to regroup, waiting for their Reaper to come back. But the side of Xenon not letting them go lightly. They're trying to take a lot of damage.
It's a bit of an unfortunate early pick right there. Losing Tor, I think, kind of slowed down this entire process for them. But, I mean, you see the pressure coming forward now. Reaper, they're not really giving him too much room to breathe on the reset.
Yeah, they go in yet again. There's a lot of damage coming in from Xenon, but they're trying to get this pick. Someone separated in the back. That Junkrat was alone back there, but the peel is there from the side of Xenon. The Amp Matrix is already out from Blue Pixel, but it does not matter as Bill is already getting 2 picks in this fight, and a D-Mech as well to top it off. This should be an easy fight win. Bill does go down, however, but it should be enough for Xenon to win this fight out.
Yeah, it was a worthy sacrifice. You get the 2-kill tire in there as well. They're doing a good job here, this 07 squad, of keeping these guys kind of out of range. I got a bit worried for a minute there. Dude from Mars, I think, overcommitted hard on a potential peel and looked like they were going to get stuck. Unfortunately, Crab Mafia just could not bring kind of the full force of its team to bear. I don't know if it was a shot call, but they're going straight in here, and that is bold.
That was a big shatter coming in from Kaiser on the main tank. Both beats have been invested here, but it's still a trade out from both of these squads. Both main tanks are down, but the Flux is going to be getting a nice value. But both teams getting value from both of their ultimates, but using a Pumpkin, going to turn it back, get a self-destruct kill into this, and it's looking good for Crab Mafia now. They've got the picks necessary, but they need to get them done quickly as they do get this done. But it's up to 73%. For the side of Xenon, but they're having respawns come back. They've got the Reinhardt, but there it goes. They got the nice pin, and they've got the point unlocked for Crab Mafia.
Yeah, Tor was absolutely huge in these engagements. As you saw on screen, just kind of let slip to do what he liked. Got the ult off early. It could have been more effective for sure, but in general, just looking really solid playing on those flanks. They're going to have to do something to counteract that Reaper in these early fights. They need to kill him early again. Good tire there from Bill to start things off.
Yeah, it's already going in favor of Xenon after losing that last team fight. They've got the wall up, and they've got the picks necessary. Yet again, the Sigma getting tore out of this fight. They've got so much damage gone from that up front. They're going to use the beat to try to stabilize for a little bit longer, but that might have been a little bit too late to change any sort of the fight. As they do come back, Patata getting a pick, and Tor coming back from spawn. It is now a little bit even on this point right now, but Kaiser on the Reinhardt swinging that hammer around and around, and they're getting a 2K shatter as well. That's going to finish it off and get it back in favor of Xenon.
Well, that was almost winnable right there until Samsky, I think, got a little too blood hungry. Thought that he could get the easy pick there on, I believe it was Dude from Mars. And then that just opened up the shatter there. It was a huge shatter from Kaiser really to buy them some space. But again, a quick retake here. They're not able to secure the atrium, so that means the fight will start almost immediately here.
Yeah, they're already looking to use this tire from Patata. Looking to get someone here. They've got Bill out of this fight, but it does not matter. The tire is going to be killed early in this fight. Kaiser's already got 2. It's flipped back to Crab Mafia with a Pumpkin self-destruct over the top, but Kaiser is still alive, getting so much damage done. 3 kills in this fight, looking for more. The Riptire coming out from Bill again. Another Riptire kill coming in from Xenon, and they've got the mix necessary. It's up to 99% for them. They just need to flip it over, and they've pretty much got it in the bag.
Yeah, there really wasn't, I don't think, very much that could be done in this scenario. Good shatter there from Kaiser to just shut Tor down, prevent him from doing any funny shenanigans here at the end. Akumaru also smacked away. Gonna be a last desperate touch attempt there coming out from Pumpkin, but I mean, it's relatively in vain there in that scenario. I was saying it didn't feel like there was very much that could have been done in that particular scenario for Crab Mafia. The ult advantage wasn't, I don't think, entirely on their side, and even taking out the tire early on. They still had a lot to deal with. In general, too, I just feel like Xenon's sustain was really strong on that point. They never really felt like they were very much kind of on the losing end of those fights. It always felt like they were relatively in control. But I mean, going over here to this market stage, Joker, we see Bill coming out on an unsupported Pharah and Kaiser coming out on the ball. So that is a very split comp with a Zen Lucio healing duo in the backline. A series of really interesting choices right there.
Yeah, definitely. Tor is opting for the Cowboy, so they've already got that counter pick all ready to go. But they're already, and Crab Mafia already on point thanks to that Symmetra from the data. They've got this on lock. Samsky has full range on this point for the time being. So we gotta wait for Bill to get some sort of pick. It's that, and just as I say that, Tor does go down to Bill on the Pharah, and that should be their go sign for the side of Xenon to go in, get some kills, but Nacho's already down in this fight as well. It's an even trade, 1-for-1, but the Symmetra is charged up on point, getting so much damage in and out of the front line and everyone else. It's going to be really hard for the side of Xenon, but already a minefield built up by Kaiser. Oh my goodness, that was a very quick minefield coming in. But it doesn't seem to be enough, as Crab Mafia did in that little long fight there get capture percentage started up.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate here, Joker, because I feel like the team comp that Xenon has come out with really does not lend itself well to actually engaging hard into the point, right? You spoke about them getting that opening pick onto Tor, which was huge, but I mean, where's the rest of the healing really going to come from here? If the Mercy is tied to Bill, you're relying a lot on your Zenyatta, and that's just not a recipe for success, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely not, as Tor has swapped over to the Tracer and is fallen already yet again, but that does not matter. They need to get more picks in this fight, as Dude from Mars using the Flux, trying to get a lot of value, but it's going to be countered out by the sound barrier. But Bill, yet again, getting another crucial pick in this fight, and another pick from Bill. That should be enough for the side of Xenon to start their capture percentage on Night Market here.
Yeah, I was just thinking to myself right there, if they're ever going to win this fight, it's going to rely on a good combination of ults, and they managed to hit it right there. Dude from Mars doing a good job with the lift on the Flux, and then following it up with Bill's well-played barrage, actually. Kind of didn't fall for the trap of putting damage forward into Pumpkin's shield, instead sort of peeled off. Still a difficult situation for them, though, because, again, against this other composition, they don't really have a hefty front line. Losing Blue Pixel early on, though, will, I think, pretty much doom Xenon's attack, at least temporarily.
Yeah, you can't be losing your Baptiste really early like that. Tor is going to go down as well to Kaiser on this Wrecking Ball. Nothing being used from Xenon here as they keep to building up more ultimates here.
Now, Xenon is having a bit of a difficult time, or I should say Tor is having a bit of a difficult time. He's at 2,600 DPS, so I think this is a little bit of a challenge for him when he's going up against here. But, I mean, Samsky getting highly aggressive. This is exactly what they need to section off this Sigma and just get it down. But, whoa, all sorts of stuff happening now, and, well, a floating Zenyatta there for us as well.
Yeah, as Kaiser does get that pick with a minefield, and a really nice minefield from Kaiser. Gonna get a section off the rest of Crab Mafia. They can't really push in, but both teams have one dead, but it's gonna be Pumpkin falling down the Nacho late. But they're gonna get the flip up onto the point for Crab Mafia. They've got things on lock. They've got a lot of damage heavy players on the point for Crab Mafia, but now Xenon is coming back. They've already got 2 picks from Bill, and this should be enough to flip it back over into their favor.
Yeah, Bad Ad was doing a pretty good job there trying to keep that Pharah in play, but really hard when you just don't have any healing backup whatsoever. Coming out now on the Echo instead, I think it's a much better choice for kind of a solo flyer if they choose to use it as such. But now that this fight has moved into the open ground where there's more room to maneuver, I do think that Xenon's composition is really working for them.
Well, there's the Flux and the Barrage being used and used to perfection, getting 2 picks in their favor already. And that is looking like the beginning of the end for Crab Mafia here, as they've got no chance of coming back to this point unless a miracle rollout comes out. But no, nothing's going to do it, as Xenon taking map number 1 very convincingly after a really even map 1.
Yeah, we say it was really even, but I mean, it did, like I said, it did always kind of feel like Xenon was a little bit in the driver's seat there on that first stage. I think one of the telling aspects here, though, in general, was just that once they lost this point here on Market, I feel like their composition was never going to be as well suited to retaking it. Crowd Mafia just getting bogged down in that kind of mid-range fight where there was lots of options for the very mobile, kind of almost dispersed composition that we saw coming out from Xenon to make a lot of waves, to pick early targets, and to kind of section off and kill different individuals on Crab Mafia's side. And when you're trying to play a more brawl-oriented style, it's really hard to come back from that.
Yeah, definitely. And it's gonna be really difficult. I do like to say that Control Center is that outlier, though.
Yep.
So going into hybrid maps, and a lot, I believe the maps that we have here are really brawl centric. We do have Kings Row, Eichenwald, and Numbani as our map in our map pool for this tournament. I do like to say that Eichenwald and Kings Row, which are probably going to be the ones that are definitely picked. Not nobody really likes to go to Numbani unless you like to run the Winston, especially for Kings Row and Eichenwald first and third. Brawl is a really good composition, and Crab Mafia does like to run that Brawl. So hopefully, if whichever map we go to, that Brawl is an integral piece of their compositions.
Yeah, it's hard to say, right? Because I mean, Xenon has shown a certain capacity for being able to pick that brawl apart. I do wonder if Crab Mafia is going to be able to kind of rise back and bring that brawl to the forefront. I mean, obviously, a map like Kings Row would benefit them to a certain extent, just because it's a little bit tighter space. There's not as many options for the hit and run there, but I have doubts. I think whether or not we're going to see Crab Mafia really pull that brawl around. I also felt to a certain extent that Crab Mafia wasn't quite sure what to play in varying situations. Tor, for example, switched off of McCree and onto Tracer, and then if I remember correctly, came back then shortly thereafter on the McCree. And it's just, there's got to be a little bit of firmness in your picks.
Yeah, and we are going to be heading to Kings Row, it seems like. So this does bode well for Crab Mafia, but like you were saying, Xenon was able to pick apart that brawl. And even though it's not normally seen, we can still see some wrecking ball compositions run on Kings Row. It might not be meta or might not be normal, but it still can be really good.
It certainly can be, and I mean, it's worth pointing out, right? And this is not a knock on the players by any stretch of the word. It's just the truth. We're not at the absolute top tier of competition here. We're down a little bit in Masters, which is still, I mean, a very high percentage of the playing body, with like the top 10% or something of the players in the game. But, you don't need those most exacting team compositions. You don't need those most exacting standards. And to a certain extent, individual skill down here can very much help overcome sort of the larger difficulty, I guess, that you might be facing. Crab Mafia will be starting off on the attack here, though, which I think is a little bit unenviable for them, right? Like, I don't think there are a lot of teams that would come into Kings Row or any map where they have a choice and be like, oh yeah, put us on attack. Like, we just got beat. Like, we love attacking first. That's not something that I think you see very often.
Definitely not, because you might be a little bit boomed and then you get full held and you're more boomed, and then that's pretty much the series done and over with.
Yeah.
But we'll be seeing if Crab Mafia can get that point unlocked. That is going to be a big thing for them. If they can get that point and at least make it some distance, they'll have a little bit more confidence in themselves, and maybe we'll see a completely different series.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned the propensity for playing wrecking ball on a map like Kings Row, and yeah, you can do it. It's gonna be it's an uphill battle, though. I mean, it really is. Genuinely, on the first point, you can kind of get by with running the wrecking ball because there's a little bit more room, right, to maneuver around. But you get into that streets phase where everything is really tight, and wrecking ball's entire body hitbox fills some of those alleyways, right, almost entirely. And I think you're kind of of asking for trouble. So what that means is I think that will force Xenon into playing compositions that perhaps Crab Mafia is more familiar with. None of this kind of weird Lucio Zenyatta heal combo, right? But probably back to a Lucio Baptiste and the ensuing tank line around there as well.
Yeah, and we'll be seeing what they are both are running. We can obviously tell what the defense is opting for, and right now they're opting for a bog standard brawl, except no May. Bill opting for the Junkrat instead.
Well, that's a bit of personal flair, right? I think Junkrat's still a very good character in a lot of ways. Never underestimate the power of just pure Junkrat spam to win the day. Tor here starting off on the Widow. I assume that's for scouting purposes and we'll be seeing a swap on that DPS. I mean, some players obviously will try and push the Widowmaker through here and arguably could be short of successful. There's not a lot that can challenge them on the side of Xenon, but usually it's just a quick scout and then a swap, and it looks like that's what we're getting here from Tor, who's dropped down.
Yeah, and another interesting composition. Oh, but Tor starting it off already, getting a pick.
No, Tor commit.
Yeah, there's no, that's a lot of damage gone from the side of Xenon. They're still sticking with the Symmetra as well, trying to get a lot of damage. Building up that Symmetra beam is going to be huge, pushing this objective already. With a lot of damage gone from the side of Xenon. They've already got a point build up. They're going to get another pick as well. Pumpkin getting Kaiser out of this fight. Bill's back from spawn, but it's not going to matter. It's a big time they're going into point 2 here.
Yeah, everything just kind of falling apart there. I don't know why, in particular, the loss of Bill, that kind of drove them back. I'd also say that I kind of felt like Oliver's positioning there. We saw for a brief second playing out of the window on the Baptiste. It's one of those things that sort of sounds good in theory, but honestly kind of limits your healing options as a Baptiste player. He might have regretted being up there, but they're hard on the re-engage here. They don't want to give him the corner here by the bookstore.
Yeah, definitely not. As the symmetric teleporter up to the top of high ground there, but Blue Pixel's down. Kaiser with a nice fire strike through the Amp Matrix. Gonna be starting it off good for the side of Xenon, and a big shatter coming out, getting 4 down as well. Not gonna get any follow-up as Tor gets Kaiser out of this fight. They're gonna be using the Symmetra wall as well, trying to keep damage to a minimum, and they're gonna be able to push this through. They almost get Hex out of this fight, and still moving forward is Crab Mafia with this composition.
It's a really well-placed sim wall, actually. It did a huge amount of work right there, and you saw that swift transition there from Badadat to get around to the other side when the fight started, and they just kind of pushed them through. But, ooh, Amplification Matrix coming out now.
Yeah, Amp Matrix coming out into the Graviton Surge from Pumpkin. Kaiser is just melted immediately as they're going to keep pushing forward. There's no more Reinhardt on the side of Xenon, and they're just going to have to back up to those corners.
Yeah, I almost feel like Xenon just have not been able to find their footing here just yet, Joker. They're just constantly reeling on the back foot. They have been ever since they lost Bill early on, but a couple of ults being invested now. A sound barrier here as well. Huge bomb there from Dude from Mars.
Yeah, Samsky got a little bit over-aggressive, could not shield the rest of his team, and Bill gets another Riptire kill as well in their favor, and Xenon's going to be able to start their defense here on this corner area, which a lot of teams like to hold at.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it was all really on the play of Dude from Mars there who sailed that bomb in quite well. And I will say, in general, I think Dude from Mars has been playing a very solid off-tank for the Xenon team, making a lot of the right moves, the things that you would expect an off-tank to do. Definitely even tried to protect Kaiser there earlier on in that series of play. But early Amplification Matrix, Kaiser with 2 for the Fire Strike.
Kaiser with 2 with the Fire Strike, getting a lot of damage done them. The Amplification Matrix Fire Strike is just incredible. It does so much damage. And the side of Xenon is going to be able to hold just by using that Amp Matrix there.
Well, that's ideal. That's what you want out of that Amplification Matrix, right, Juggy? You just want to use it once and then stop the entire push. And that's exactly what happened. But here comes the re-engage again.
Yeah, they're looking to get Pumpkin back up to this Graviton Surge. The High Noon going to be using early, trying to get some damage done. Nothing going to be done doing, however. Tor going to be using the Death Blast. Going to get Bill out of this fight. Another pick as well on the Nacho. This should be enough for the side of Crab Mafia to keep this cart moving, as it's just going to be a dude from Mars trying to stall it out as Samsky to get a 3-piece there.
To be fair to you, though, I mean, that was a much-needed break. Like, they needed that little bit of time, I think, to just reset themselves a little bit. I still going into this final stage with a hefty 3-minute, 51-second time bank, I think. But it was good for Xenon to at least put some of the brakes on the Crab Mafia train. Now we have a little bit of an engagement here because Kaiser does have the Shatter, and Samsky does not, and there it is.
Ooh, the Shatter not going to get anyone, though, because they're going to use the Sim Wall yet again, and Tor does get Oliver out of this fight. The Amp Matrix Fire Strikes yet again claim some more lives as Kaiser goes down. They're going to keep pushing this forward. They don't have any damage mitigation besides that defensive Matrix for the time being.
Yeah, I almost wonder if they would be benefiting from a May maybe at this point in time instead of that Junkrat. A lot of that probably going to be preconditioned on how effective this tire is. If Bill can hit a fat one, might slow this down. Bomb does come over the top. That's the Immortality Field. You're never going to get a better opening than that.
Yeah, as it's already going in favor of Xenon. Bill gets 2 as well, with Nacho getting another 2, and the team kill gong is sound, and it's 2 minutes and 50 seconds still left on the clock for Crab Mafia, though.
Tell you what, Joker, the pacing and engagements here have been a little bit weird to time out. Sometimes they seem to go really cagey into these fights, and other times they're just straight in. But ooh, sneaky tire, I think, in the cards right here.
Yep, the rip tire coming out from over the top. Gonna get Akumaru, who was unfortunately not in that Immortality Field. And Bill gets another nice concussion mine and gets 2 with that. And that's gonna be another easy team fight win off the back of Bill.
I was just saying that maybe they need to consider the swap over to May, and that was enough, I guess, to get Bill all jazzed up, right, to come out of the Junkrat and start making these huge plays. And you're right, he's essentially really turned the tide of at least 2 pushes here. He's playing very well, definitely hit a stride.
Definitely. They're going to keep an eye out for that as Kaiser with another Amplification Matrix Fire Strike, getting a lot of damage done. The Graviton Surge is there, but the beat is there to counter it out, and it's still Xenon looking ever stronger on this defense. And like you said, they might have just needed to hit, catch their footing, and they're looking so much stronger now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're still getting a couple of losses there. Hex overstanding just a little bit to her detriment, trying to get in and finish them off. Couldn't quite pull it down. But in general, I think it has been working for them. The spawn advantage, I think, has also been really important here for them as well. Kind of even in terms of ult banks, though. Akumaru going down early would be disaster, but here comes the wall.
Ooh, they're going to use beat early to engage this. They're not going to have it for any long fight now. The High Noon going to be used. Bill is out of this fight. That's massive. Both High Noons now being used. Nacho trying to get some value. Nothing doing, however, as a nice stun coming in onto the opposition. And they should be able to get this unlocked. The Shatter coming out from Samsky, trying to keep people away. Amp Matrix is out, but it's not going to get much value besides, but you know, it doesn't matter, because Dude from Mars is going to get a 2K self-destruct on point, but it might still not matter. But Dude from Mars is, just as I say, that gets another 3-piece in this fight, and they're going to be able to hold on for another defensive push.
That might have been the high water mark there for that Crab Mafia side. I made a bit of a mistake. I was looking only at the ults that had already been gained. I didn't see, you know, Tor coming up on one in there as well. So they did have some ults to commit there. They threw a lot at that. They're going to have a handful on this attack, and they really need to make them count if they want to win this. But already a bomb coming in.
Ooh, nothing doing from the Riptire from Bill. That's going to be massive as the wall is up, but Bill does not need the Riptire to get a pick. He gets 4 out of this fight. He did not get anything with that Deadeye, as it's still looking good for the side of Xenon. They're going to get a couple more picks in their favor as the Graviton Surge is out, but it's not going to matter. It's all blue in the kill feed for Xenon. They just need to get these last stagger kills out of the way, and they've won this, or not won the map, but they set themselves up for a pretty decent chance of winning the map.
It was good ult play from Xenon. I think it was also just kind of good resilience on their part too, especially on that final push from Crab Mafia. The Xenon really kept their cool there. They didn't panic, and I think there are a fair amount of teams that would have panicked in that particular scenario, but rather they just kind of stuck to their guns. Oliver got the amplification matrix down, which was a huge play. Kept Dude from Mars up long enough to go ahead and get that bomb off. That was absolutely game changing right there for Xenon at the bitter end. So I really think it was just a matter of them getting closer and closer to the respawn advantage. Once they were in a spot where they could kind of filter people back into the fight pretty quickly, I think Xenon was pretty well in control.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you now, and we're looking at compositions coming out for the defending squad. Interesting decision. They're using Hanzo and Echo. Not maybe normally a Brawl type of DPS line, but what do you expect from Crab Mafia's DPS line right now?
That's an interesting setup. I'll be properly honest with you here, Joker. I don't necessarily know what the game plan is there. I guess you've got the threat of Tor as the sort of, sniper right on the low ground, able to output a ton of damage on the Hanzo, and then you kind of combine that with the above ground threat of Badadat on that Echo, and you're sort of trying to split their focus, so you hope that one DPS or the other pops off. At least that would be my guess.
Yeah, well, we've already seen one DPS in the side of Bill being able to pop off, and he's still on that signature Junkrat hero, and just as I'm talking about it, he already gets Tor out of this fight. That's a massive pick. Immortality Field used by Xenon early in this fight, so they should be able to win this fight out without much resistance coming in from Crab Mafia, as Samsky's down now, and it's going to be really difficult for them to re-engage without their Reinhardt.
It was a really good read from Xenon. I think they kind of immediately realized that there just wasn't a lot of frontline pressure on the side of this Crab Mafia team. And once they kind of realized that, it was just, all hands on deck. Everybody shoved straight forward into Samsky. And you saw Samsky's shield just getting wrecked right there early on in that fight. And there was not enough of a contribution from the two DPS who were playing off.
Yeah, well, we're looking... Kaiser almost up to the shatter. The Ant Matrix is going to be used from Blue Pixel to push around this corner, trying to get some damage done onto Xenon, but they're kiting it back. They're waiting it out. They're doing a really good job. Bill going to be using the right Riptire, going to get Samsky out of this fight, and this should be enough for them to win yet again. No main tank on the side of Crab Mafia. It's going to be really difficult to hold. There's so much damage that's going to be coming through now, and look at that, all the kills coming in favor of Xenon.
Good kill by Nacho there to get Badadat out at the end, and I mean, genuinely feel a bit bad for Samsky here. It almost feels like there's just not enough damage mitigation in the world to slow down the amount of devastation that's just being thrown into his shield. I feel like the couple of times we swapped over to him, he's never had a shield that had more than 400 health on it.
Well, yeah, and the Immortality Field is already gone, but a big shatter coming out from Samsky. There's no follow-up, and Nacho gets a 2K Deadeye. Another pick for Nacho in this fight, and he's going to get the D-Mech onto the copied Echo as well. And that is going to be a very quick time break. There's 5 minutes and 45 seconds left. They've got to push it 70 meters, though.
Yeah, in this last stage, I mean, this is a difficult place. Pushes do die here, but now you're seeing swaps coming in on Crab Mafia. Badadat going over to the Hanzo. Dude from Mars getting sussed out a little bit early there. Has to be careful. Lost a significant amount of health and control of the high ground, really before the fight even started.
Self-destruct coming over from the top from both of these squads, but Dude from Mars is going to get a pick in their favor. It's looking better and better for the side of Xenon. Kaiser was trying to get a cheeky shatter for the back. Goes down, however, but it's still looking good for the side of... Oh, just as I said, I was about to say it was looking good for Xenon, but Crab Mafia's got picked in their favor, and it's looking like Xenon is backing off.
Yeah, it looked for a second there like Xenon might be able to convert on that one, but they sort of just ran out of gas a little bit. I mean, not to point fingers too heavily at anyone, but I do think Kaiser got a little over ambitious with that shatter, and a good read by Pumpkin right there to pick up on what was happening and go for the shutdown.
Yeah, and now they go into this Badadat looking to get build up to that Dragon Strike, but Nacho getting Samsky out of this fight yet again. Samsky going down first in these fights has been a big telling sign for the side of Crab Mafia throughout this series, as Bill getting another pick in this fight. The Dragon Strike gonna be there, but it's already looking poorly for the side of Crab Mafia as all the kills are going in favor of Xenon. And it's looking more and more likely we're going to see a 2-0 in favor of Xenon right now, as the self-destruct is going to be used in celebration as Xenon is taking a commanding 2-0 lead over Crab Mafia.
A lot of credit to Kaiser right there, I think, in particular, doing a really good job on the tank position, and credit to the support lineup as well over there on the side of Xenon for keeping him in that fight, allowing him to hold position on the card. And here we see Nacho's beautiful Deadeye does a really good job on this one. I think they almost sort of forgot about him in the aftermath of the shatter, and I mean, you just can't leave McCree unmarked in situations like that, Joker, or, you know, if he's got the ult, he's going to use it, right? Anytime that you can take a Deadeye and make it not a suicide ult is a good Deadeye.
Yeah, definitely, and especially when you can get value from the Deadeye as well. And we saw a lot of value coming in from both teams' Deadeyes. It wasn't just Xenon's on Nacho getting value. It was also people on Crab Mafia getting a couple of Deadeye kills, but in the end, it's still Xenon up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's necessarily surprising. I mean, I do think Crab Mafia has had their moments here, Joker, where they've looked quite good, right? They've come out swinging. They did very well in the early stages of King's Row right there, but things just genuinely not seeming to go their way. Tor really can't seem to get an advantage over the other DPS, which I think is causing them a bit of problems. And I mean, it just, you know, the difference I think came down to at the very end of that King's Row was that Xenon just went in. They seemed very resilient. The sustain was there, and I felt like Crab Mafia, when they were in a similar position on the attack, they just couldn't cross that final hurdle. They just didn't have enough in the tank, and whatever that comes down to, I think it's just a general everything across the board, right? Probably not enough healing to sustain the tanks, therefore the tanks can't take the right positions, therefore the DPS are not protected, yada, yada, yada. You know, it's all a big circle at the end of the day, but Xenon definitely showing themselves, I think, that the strong seed in this particular matchup.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. And they're doing this without their one of their mainstay of their players. They're using a ringer today, which is really interesting. Ty Munster usually on this roster, but not here as the flex support. Oliver is going to be their ringer for this evening. But we're going to go to a short little intermission before map 3. Do not go anywhere. Xenon is up 2-0, and match point is right after this.
My mind is a minefield. Watch your step, that's not a threat, no. My heart is a house of cards. They had those shaky hands, they let me fall apart. And I know it shows, yeah. You heart overhead. And I guess love to watch the way you made me into a mess. Hands on my dress, neon red. You were everything I didn't need until you left. Now I'm dancing around my living room. I get drunk on the thought of you and I. When you were mine, see your eyes in every stranger. I replay the way that we were till I'm high. No, it's not right. I miss you missing me like you used to, yeah, like you used to. I miss you kissing me like you used to, like only you do. You know the good things are never as good as the bad, and your love is better than anything I've ever had. Oh, I miss you missing me like you used to, yeah, like you used to. I know you're gone, and you probably just forgot me. Yeah, you're moving on. But I can't let go, 'cause I'm still
Welcome back, everyone. It is me and Corbeck still here on the cast. Xenon is up 2-0 over Crab Mafia, and it's looking pretty one-sided right now for Xenon. They're looking a lot better than Crab Mafia is.
Yeah, it's true. Like I said before we went to break, right? Crab Mafia has definitely had their moments. We saw a really impressive attack, I think, from them on Kings Row. They kind of came out blazing. Pow, pow, pow. I thought they were through. I thought that we might genuinely be seeing a tie, but Xenon on the other side of the ball, I mean, they just picked it up. They did a really good job. They looked very confident on their attack, great usage of ults, and Crab Mafia just unfortunately did not have the answers immediately at hand for how best to deal with that. Unfortunately, we're going on to Route 66 next, and Crab Mafia will once again be starting on the attack. And I just, this is an eternal, I feel like a consistent debate in Overwatch, and will probably be a consistent debate well into Overwatch 2, Joker, whether you start on attack or defense when you have the choice, right? And to me, I always do think that defense is the better pick. It really gives you how far you gotta go right from the bat. Like there's a goal in mind. It's just always rough, I think, to start on the attack, especially when you're already down 2-0 like this.
Yeah, I'll play devil's advocate on picking attacking first, because a lot of teams, if you're a super aggressive team, you'll want to set the pace, set the tone, and get that massive a time bank in your attacking phase, and then that'll slightly deflate the opposing team going into their attacking phase, and that's what I like to see from some teams playing, going for that attacking phase first. But I don't think Crab Mafia is choosing to go attacking first. I believe it is Xenon choosing to defend because they are the winners of the maps. So we're seeing a pretty good decision from Xenon. However, because they look like they're that team that wants to know where they have to go.
Yeah, the Crab Mafia, man, they need to call on their Crab Mafia contacts. I don't know what those would look like, but they must exist. Joey 8 legs. How many legs does a crab have, actually? It's 8, right?
I think it's 8.
Oh my god, I feel like I've made a mistake by not knowing what is it, a cephalopod or whatever from a spider. But just gotta get those Crab Mafia contacts in. Find out who killed Crab Jimmy Hoffa and really use that particular angle to push your way forward here as we get started on Route 66.
Yes. They need to get the Crab Father into this.
The Crab Father? I was gonna make a joke, like I was gonna say something like an offer you can't refuse, but I can't even think of like what the crab version of that would be. Like a really good pool to sit in. Anyway, it looks like they're shooting each other, so we should probably talk about that.
Yeah, they're shooting each other. That's what you like to see when you're playing Overwatch. Two teams shooting each other, but they're already starting it off. A lot of damage is going on to Crab Mafia thanks to this bunker-style composition that Xenon is opting for on this defense. As Blue Pixel is away from this team, he's going to have to use that Immortality Field early to stay alive, as Pumpkin does get Bill out of this fight. And that's going to bode well for Crab Mafia. They've got A lot of damage gone from the side of Xenon for the time being, but they need more picks if they're going to win this fight out win it out decisively with a big time bait going into the point. As Kaiser does get Samsky out of this fight, there's no more Reinhardt, no more shield to contest this damage that's coming out from Xenon, but they need to stay on this point because it's really close. Any second could change, could mean Crab Mafia gets this point unlocked, but Xenon is coming back with their respawns and getting the picks necessary to hold on their defense.
It might be that my brain is just too smooth, but I'm trying to figure out exactly what purpose Hex here on the Bermuda serves. It would be good for countering a dive, which is why I think they might have gone with it initially if they did have some sort of dive setup, but kind of one wonders, wouldn't like maybe a Zenyatta be more effective, but the amplification matrix out now, and can they capitalize on it?
Well, they're just kiting through it, but it doesn't matter. Nacho's gonna get the headshot through onto Batata, and it's gonna bode very easy. It looks like they're gonna have to reset here, re-engage, and regroup. But a big pulse bomb coming in from Thor, gonna get two. Dragon Strike and the Molten Core is down. The pulse self-destruct coming over the top, getting Kaiser out of this fight. This should be enough for Crab Mafia to win this out and unlock point 2 here.
Big moment from Tor right there. He's been looking for that for a while. What? On the remake? Or was that the bomb?
It was the remake. Oh my goodness. But it doesn't matter. But I just say that Nacho comes back, gets 1, but it's not going to be enough as Hex can't touch in time, as Crab Mafia is going to be able to capture it up. But oh my goodness, dude from Mars almost clutched that up with a 2K remake kill.
How many times have you seen a 2K remake kill? I literally don't know that I've ever seen that before in Overwatch. I don't play a lot these days, but like, that's crazy. Anyway, Bill here in a hard frontline position just has to fall back a little bit here, Joker. Get back to the rest of the team and hopefully get that turret out.
Well, we haven't really seen it since the mech damage buff got reversed and down to like only 150 HP or something now per damage, but that's done in the past. We're looking towards this fight as Dude from Mars is already demexed for this fight. Amp Matrix has come out from both sides, and the copy is on to the Orisa, but he's focused down immediately, and the Xenon has already got the picks necessary in this fight to win it out, and they're gonna stagger this diva, it seems.
Kaiser continues to be a really strong presence here for Xenon. Like, I actually have to give plenty of credit here to Kaiser's ability to just hold firm in those difficult situations. You know, Orisa is a tank that I think has gone through some iterations, right, of her effectiveness and what she's really supposed to do, but she's always kind of had this underlying element of just holding the line, and Kaiser is doing that spectacularly on this particular map.
Yeah, and the Dragon Strike is going to be massive because there's no way they didn't eat it, but it's not going to get any picks, but that's a lot of damage onto the entire team of Crab Mafia. The Molten Core is going to be out. Going down is the build out, and it's still in favor of Crab Mafia. They got the picks necessary in this fight. Tor getting that headshot kill onto Hex late in it. It's just the Diva and the Baptiste left for Crab Mafia to clean up, and they should have this point unlocked very easily. But Dude from Mars does get Tor out of this fight. There's still a chance they can re-engage this with the self-destruct, trying to keep people away. Self-destruct yet again from the other Diva as well. Gonna get the D-Mech onto Pumpkin, and the respawns are there coming back from Xenon, but it's not going to be enough as it's still Crab Mafia inserting their will onto the opposition, and they should get this point captured.
A couple of really weird ult investments from Xenon right there. Bill, for example, firing off his Molten Core at the very start of that entire engagement, kind of at a really awkward angle. Not an ult that benefits from firing upwards, but he did switch to Junkrat, so I think that was part and parcel for the strat. The other one that I think was a bit misplaced, beautiful shot there onto Hex, by the way, from Tor, who finally starting to come alive here a little bit on this Route 66 map. The other one that I was at was the use of the bongo right there, but again, the switch coming out from Kaiser, I think at both those strange ult choices were because these swaps were inbound.
Yeah, and it'll be really interesting to see how Kaiser gets on with this Wrecking Ball. There's a little bit more space to do some things and a lot more grappling ability for it. So we did see Kaiser get a lot of value on Lee Zhang with this Wrecking Ball pick, but he's already super low, but he's got this pick on the Batata. It's looking good for Xenon here as Nacho gets that nice little melee kill onto the D-Mac Diva. There should be enough as we're seeing Crab Mafia re-engaging as Tor using the Dragon Strike here, and it's Batata coming back from spawn, getting Kaiser out of this fight, and they should now have enough to re-engage. There's another pick coming in from the Echo of Crab Mafia. They're not done here. They're trying to get this fight win very easily as Batata is coming in, getting the copy onto the Diva, looking to build up that copy self-destruct to get a couple of those self-destructs in this time frame. Here comes the self-destruct over the top, but builds back from spawn, getting a nice rip tire onto Tor, who has been lighting it up on this map, and now the respawns are back. They're stable. Xenon is looking much more comfortable now, and they've got the defense holding strong.
That was a difficult situation there for Crab Mafia because I think you're in a spot where it's a little bit hard to make the judgment call of what you want to do. Do you want to go in for the re-engage right there, or do you want to back off, regroup with the full team? You've got a couple of picks in and out, and just a respawn advantage, again, really working in favor of Xenon right there, meaning that those kills just didn't count as much. Early amplification matrix here, though, could signal doom to this particular attack.
Well, yeah, the amp matrix is already out, looking to get a lot of damage. Crab Mafia is playing it smart. They're staying out of that line of sight, and Patat gonna get Oliver out of this fight. They don't have that res any longer for this mid fight as Tor comes out, getting another pick in this fight. And that is, it might be the beginning of the end as the Shatter comes out, doesn't connect onto anyone, but it doesn't matter as Pumpkin gets a self-destruct and a remake kill in the same sequence as Crab Mafia captures all 3 points with 13 seconds on the board.
Great play from Pumpkin. Pumpkin, it has been doing pretty solid on the Diva for most of these maps, trying to be in the most impactful places. We saw a kill on Kaiser right as he was using a Shatter over there on King's Row, and now a huge play here at the tail end there with the bomb and the remake kill on top of it to really break this in favor of Crab Mafia. That has to be a little bit frustrating for Xenon. I mean, they were 13 seconds away from at least forcing the overtime here, which would have been huge for them. But I think they really don't have anyone to blame but themselves in this situation to a certain extent. There was some very kind of, I think, questionable ult usage coming out from Xenon. I don't know if it's a matter of feeling confident in the sense that they've been doing so well and they feel like they can just start firing those off in kind of random places, but whatever it was, it's an aspect of the game that so far they've been really good about up until I think the tail end of Route 66 there, kind of from the midpoint onwards, where it looked a little less good. Now on the other side, Crab Mafia, they've come out here on sort of another bunker comp, almost an answer to the opposite. Tor obviously feeling a little bit more on point on this Route 66 map, should theoretically be doing a fair amount of damage here on the Ash. It's going to be interesting to see where Blue Pixel divides their time here, Joker, if they want to go and give this more to Tor, or if they want to put it on Patatet, who you could maybe use as a little bit more of a flanker, just nuisance character, while your main damage dealer is right here.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how Crab Mafia goes on. I'm more interested in the Soldier being locked for this dive composition that Xenon is opting for with the double bubble. It'll be, if they can get some value in the follow-ups, that'll be really good for the side of Xenon. But oh my goodness, Kaiser already caught out, but it's going to be traded back. Tor is down as well. And it's going to be in favor of Xenon because that respawn advantage is there for them, but the res is there online for Tor to get back into this fight. But right now it's looking good for Crab Mafia.
Yeah, the loss of Kaiser early on, I think, really doomed this. Even with the respawn advantage, there's just no way to get the Winston back in. And the trade onto Tor, I mean, you're trading a DPS for your main tank. I don't think it's a trade you really want to make if you can avoid it. I'm a bit interested to see exactly what Xenon is trying to do here. You mentioned the pick of the Soldier. He's not the usual choice in the double bubble, but that's not letting Kaiser stop. He's going straight in on the engage on top of the gas station and getting wrecked for his troubles.
Well, we're seeing why Batat's most played hero is Echo. They're getting so many picks for the side of Crab Mafia right now, and they're single-handedly right now winning these fights. because they're getting these key picks onto the opposition, as they're chunking down this time bank pretty big right now here, Corbeck.
I think it's genuinely time to swap on the side of Xenon. I just don't think it's working. I think there's this temptation to use these ults, but I think it's just a bit misplaced.
Yeah, as Tat getting another pick in this fight. They're gonna waste the copy, however, but they're still alive, which is the big thing. They're gonna be nanoing the monkey on the top of this, but they're gonna be focused down. They're already down to half health. They're gonna use that primal rage, top their health back up, looking to get some work done, as Bill does get 4 out of this fight, but the red should be there if they can get it, but I don't think they're gonna risk it. It does not seem, as Xenon is now pushing forward. The tag visor coming out from Nacho, gonna get Patat, and maybe more. It does not look like it, however, as the mortality field is gonna save off a lot of damage for the time being, but it's not gonna matter any longer, as it's looking like Xenon's busted this defense wide open.
All credit right there to Kaiser. Just a beautiful primal. I mean, you know, sometimes we think about primals and we see these amazing technical plays coming out of Overwatch League. It wasn't necessarily that, but in terms of just using that ult in the way it's supposed to be used, completely displacing the enemy team, splitting them off of that really solid defense they had up there on top of the gas station, and enabling picks. It was such an impactful ult. Probably, honestly, one of the most impactful primals I've seen in a really long time.
Yeah, it was a really good primal, and there goes the copy in from Bill here in a really awkward position, and they're gonna be burned completely very quickly, as Akuru gonna get Bill out of this fight immediately following that the copy going away. And it's now looking like Pumpkin have gotten this defense back on track.
They have another primal in the tank. They also have another nano monkey combo and a gravitic flux. Unfortunately, losing Oliver and Dude is just going to slow this down a little bit, but you've got 2 minutes 43 seconds, so you've got a little bit of time here, Joker, and you can kind of back up, reset, and take stock. The ult advantage is very much in your favor right now, and I think honestly one nano monkey could probably break some of this open depending on where Kaiser chooses to put their focus. The Grav is almost more of a chaser to that.
Yeah, as Akumaru is going to start it off again. Getting Bill out of this fight is massive, and they're going to have to just back up immediately. It was just that supercharger from Samsky to bringing in so much damage for Crab Mafia, as Xenon has to back up.
Yeah, they'll reset again here for just a second, and not a lot of choice in the matter, I think, there, Joker, if you want to kind of continue pushing forward here. And there's the reset. We'll see if they can use these ults.
Yeah, well, we're going to see if the Dude from Mars can get a nice Graviton Surge, but they're already down. Some nice plays coming in from the Tat on this Echo so far throughout Route 66. They do get the res, but they trade for it with their life, as they're going to be using the primal. Getting a pick onto Akumaru, it could be massive. That could be what they need. A misplaced Bob coming in from Tor, and it's still looking good for Xenon. They've got the picks necessary going forward into this, but Zamsky trading it out, getting Kaiser. The main tank down for Xenon, and the copy coming in from the Tat, trying to get some things done. Gonna be able maybe to build up this tag visor, but not looking like they are. But you know, staying alive still is a good thing. But just as I say, the tag visor is online, getting one, almost another one with it as well. And it's down to 60 seconds, Corbat.
Beautiful ult there from Batata. There we go. Beautiful ult from them, regardless of what their name is. They did a spectacular job using that ult to just clear that fight out and burn a bunch of time, because it's forced this big reset here from Xenon, and they're really only going to have time for one impactful push.
Yeah, Hex going to be using that Valkyrie early in this fight, and the tag visor coming out from Nacho, getting one, getting two. Can he get a third here? No, but Tat is going to get that pick on to Nacho. The res is there from Hex. Both the reses have now been burned in this fight, as Bill using the Flux is trying to get some picks, and he does not get anything, as it's going to be Nacho going down to Pumpkin's Gravitic Flux. It's down to 5 seconds left, and this might be enough. I think they've done it. Crab Mafia has done it. They've got this point. The map 1, and they're gonna bring it back 2-1 in the series. Kaiser did use that minefield, but it's not gonna be enough as Crab Mafia wins out on Route 66.
I really feel like that one was all Batatat all the time. Like a huge play is coming out there from the Echo player, a rare Baptiste play of the game. You don't see those all that often. What was it? Certainly a little bit of gun skill in here as well. And he's going to go ahead and finish that kill onto Batatat. And all right. Not the most impactful play of the game I've ever seen, but I won't take it away from him there, Joker. It's interesting to me to see the way in which that map played out. So much of that was down to the inability to really close down on Batatat's Echo, who's just felt very free, especially on that second stage, was just kind of everywhere at once, doing the right things, hitting the right shots, exactly where they needed to be. And because it was so disruptive, I felt like Xenon can never bring the full force of their team onto the front line of Crab Mafia. They were always getting caught kind of in that mid-range sort of poke distance and losing casualties before the fight really even fully got started.
Yeah, but Bat. I'm gonna just call him Bat because it's much easier. Yeah, he was doing so much work on that Echo. It really shows to why they play him on that Echo so much, and it worked to perfection. They've got the momentum now in their favor, going to an assault map, which is a big thing. Assault is really based on momentum. You can't really say it's based on being better than the other team, because it's assault map. It's 2 CP, man. Anything can happen, and it's really good for them to have that confidence going into this next map.
I do think to a certain extent Xenon got hoisted by their own petard there just a little bit. They got a little bit ahead of themselves, I think, on their defense. They were making plays that I think were maybe a little bit less than sensible, whether that was coming from a place of overconfidence or just a strategic / tactical mismatch. I'm not sure exactly which. Certainly on the attack, I felt like there were a couple of times in there where you mentioned the soldier coming out, and the soldier wasn't a terrible choice, but was it the most effective choice in that setup? I have doubts, right? You maybe could have played something different. And I think as the map progressed, continuing to play the soldier, despite some really good individual plays that did come out of Nacho, right? We got to give him credit where credit is due. He hit a very good tac visor there towards the end of that Route 66 match. It just wasn't perhaps as impactful as I think certain other DPS could have been. And I think the same thing applies overall to that double bubble that they were trying to run.
Yeah, I have to definitely agree with you there. As now we're heading to Russia, we're heading to Volskaya as Crab Mafia looks to tie up the series, and we're going to be seeing Xenon attacking first this time.
Well, finally, Crab Mafia has gotten their opportunity to start on the defense, and this could be huge in terms of a momentum shift here and pushing this forward to a 2-2. I really think it depends just how much Xenon, how seriously they were taking that last Route 66 map. I think we'll see relatively quickly here whether or not Xenon was kind of fooling around, trying something a little bit different, or whether they were playing that one, very much to their level. If this first kind of defensive point is a disaster for Crab, I feel like it's made clear that Xenon, they want to win, they want to finish it off, they've had their bit of fun, etc., etc. But if it turns into a grind, I think we can very much say that Crab Mafia is back and fight.
Yeah, and we'll definitely see how this works because Volskaya can be really, along with a lot of 2CP maps, it can be either that full hold or we could go multiple rounds of overtime. But whoever really sets that tone early on in this fight will be in this map will probably be the victors in the overall when it's all said and done, when all the guns are gone.
Well, yeah, it's. I mean, there's a reason that assault mode 2CP, whatever you want to call it, is being removed from the next iteration of the game, right? And because it is a bit of a problematic mode, to say the least, it lends itself to kind of a couple of different outcomes, and none of them are very pleasant. Like you said, the full hold is very much a thing. The multiple overtime is very much a thing. And the other one that I think we didn't mention is just a straight run through, right? Some teams just blaze through 2CP maps, and it will have shades of kind of what we saw in King's Row, where the other team is just so back-footed they can't do anything. Even the respawn advantage doesn't help them. I don't know if we're going to be seeing that here. Just looking at the team composition coming out from Xenon on the attack, it's an interesting setup. Again, you're relying on Nacho here on the Soldier. You've got Bill taking up the Pharah, and Oliver on the Zenyatta is going to be sort of the center point healer. It reminds me a lot of what we saw them running over there on Night Market.
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting to see. That Discord orb, like you said, it's going to be a really centerpiece of this attacking phase that Xenon is going to be running here. They've got to focus down that person who is discorded immediately, and we'll see if they can do that effectively.
It's a bit of an awkward turkey comp in a way too, I should add, just because the Soldier really, you would almost think a Tracer might fit into this better. There's the ability to kind of move around very fast and strike different targets, but there's always going to be a nucleus here, and it kind of looks like Nacho is trying to form that nucleus with a dude from Mars on the D.Va.
Well, Pumpkin is already down thanks to Bill, but it's going to be traded out immediately by Tor. But the res is going to be there from only one team. It doesn't look like the side of Crab Mafia is going to be opting for that res, but it doesn't seem like they need it, as they've already got their picks in their favor. They do, however, have a very the respawn advantage is not in their favor, but Xenon is going to be backing up here.
This is a very positioning important comp that Xenon is running. They cannot get stuck in those rooms with this composition. They simply don't have the tools to win those kind of very tightly spaced fights against the damage dealers like Badadat, who can just continue to chunk massive amounts of damage into closed spaces.
Yeah, as Badadat is already starting this off, getting a nice pick on to the D.Va mech, as they do use copy there, but it's burned very quickly. They didn't get the right copy, it seems, which is unfortunate for Crab Mafia, but they still got this point control. They're looking to do some more damage, as they're still stuck in this little room, and the Zen is alone. They catch that Zen out by themselves. This is GG, but it's not going to seem like it's going to happen, as Bill's going to be using that barrage, going to get Samsky out of this fight, and the Orisa is gone. It's no longer looking like the side of Crab Mafia can get this full hold done, because they don't have that the mainstay of the Orisa any longer. The self-destruct coming over the top, not going to get anyone, however, from Dude of Mars and self-destruct, but it's still looking good for the side of Xenon. But the Flux is going to catch one, almost get Oliver out of this fight, and now it is the beginning of the end of this first point defense, as Xenon have got the picks necessary in this fight and to win it out.
Oliver's so lucky, to be honest. Way back in the start of that series of play, you pointed it out too, Joker, alone, moving from the garage over towards those stairs. He's just lucky that the comms for Crab Mafia weren't online at that point in time, didn't pick up on that movement, because if they did, he would have died in that transition 100%, and it would have handicapped the rest of that attack. But because he was able to stay alive, I think he was basically the engine that drove a lot of that forward.
Yeah, as a nice little play coming in from Kaiser, almost knocking everyone off, but it doesn't matter, as Tor's already gotten two in this fight, and they're just gonna have to reset here.
Tor has been doing really well on this map. It was kind of lost in the chaos, but on this Ashe has consistently been putting pressure on Bill, not really letting the Pharah establish kind of air superiority here. And on top of that, I mean, a beautiful double kill play right there at the start of that attack from Xenon to just buy the team a little bit of time to reset, right? The last thing you want to have happen on one of these two CPs is the hard rush in when you're not really prepared for it.
Yeah. And now we're try to push in there. Tor almost getting fallen there, but it's going to be healed quickly up by Blue Pixel on the Mercy. As, ooh, Bill super low as well. Needs to be healed up, and Tor gets a pick onto Bill immediately. That's going to stave out this push for a little bit longer, as Hex does get the res, but the mech is fallen for dude from Mars as Tor uses the Ash, gets 2 picks, and they have this point presence, but it's not going to be enough to really do anything.
The problem here, though, and it depends on how Crab Mafia is doing in terms of the ult tracking, but Xenon is building up for a grand finale. They're almost going to have all 6 ults online. They're just going to go in, they're going to press Q, and that's going to be it. That's what they want. One very decisive take here, and taking out Tor early is a really good start to that. The res, unfortunately, going to make that move.
Yeah, but the res is burned for this longer engagement, however, as Xenon is walking in here with 6 ultimates here, Corbeck.
Gotta press Q, and they know it. Like I said, I think they're intentionally building towards this. It's just interesting to see what is going to be the initiator in this set. They're obviously trying to set up for a sneaky barrage here, sneaking Bill in on the side, and I don't think that they know that the Pharah is quite here.
Well, we're going to be seeing if Bill can get a nice barrage here onto maybe that tank line. As a minefield is out from Kaiser, trying to split off the sides, but Nacho's going to start it off with a pick with that tack visor. Bat trying to turn it back, but it's not going to be enough. It's just there's the overwhelming presence from Xenon, only having to use 3 ultimates, it seems, to get the picks necessary to win this fight out. But the respawns could be there. It could be enough to stall it out. Blue Pixel does go down, but the self-destruct is on point, trying to keep people away. They do get back, but the rematch kill is on to Pumpkin. This should be enough. The 2CP stall should not be able to hold on much longer as Bill uses the barrage, gets the last pick onto Akumaru, and that's going to be it. 1 minute and 3 seconds left on the clock for Xenon.
Very good use of the minefield engage right there. Really impressive on the side of Xenon. I think it was Kaiser who was on the ball. It was a perfect move to kind of use that to split the team. They kind of sectioned off the tanks with the minefield, shut down that passageway in between the point and the sort of spawn area. And it was really well executed to put that there. Immediately you could see that it was causing chaos. You combo that with the tack advisor. If Bill had not have been trapped in that inside area and killed, I'm pretty sure that Xenon would have finished it right then and there had they had the barrage in the pocket, but they didn't, and that's why I think we saw that little bit of a hanger on right there, Joker, where it took them a while to finally bring the killing blow to bear. Now the swap coming over, Xenon taking the defensive side here. They'll be bringing out Kaiser again on the Orisa. Really impressive play over on Route 66 on the Orisa. Hopefully we can see a repeat of that again. And Patat, well, they're in a bit of a kind of unpleasant scenario. They're going to run into a certain unkindness here because both Bill and Nacho are coming out on hit scans, specifically, I think, to shut down Patat's flyer play.
Yeah, and that is definitely the play if you are Xenon. We've seen it on Route 66. He was just hard carrying, it seemed, for Crab Mafia. And going into this, they need to shut him down to win. Because if they get this, they have this defense, they win the entire series.
You want to guess who the 3,800 player is on the side of Crab Mafia, the highest player?
I do know who it is. The chat probably doesn't know, but they probably figured it out by now. It is the up inside of Crab Mafia, and this rotation's already looking nice for Xenon. They're going to have to drop down because side of Crab Mafia trying to push this objective right here. It's going to be really difficult. They don't have Alicio, however, but still looking good. They're almost on top of this double shield, which is going to be huge as they're taking a dude from Mars for a ride there with the charge, and it's already looking good for the side of Crab Mafia. But just as I say that, the 3 picks going in favor of Xenon. Akumaru gonna get Kaiser out with the amplification matrix help. The res is going to be there, and it's still looking good for Xenon. They don't have Crab Mafia doesn't have any point presence at the moment, and Xenon gonna be able to hold on for the time being.
huge res, actually massive. I mean, I mean it in the sense that if Kaiser had gone down there, the walk back to the point would have taken forever. Now, at least in this position, Kaiser can do exactly this. Get onto the point and contest and just try and hold this frontal spot. Gonna be very hard here though, Joker. A lot of damage being posted on those tanks.
Yeah, and they're already getting a lot of capture percentage. It's already 2 ticks. The attack visor is going to be used. Nacho gets 1, and that's going to be, oh, then they get 2, but it's going to be enough for them to keep this up and going. They've got the defense strong. It's down to 2 minutes and 10 seconds left for Crab Mafia to get something doing here.
Good read on the tack visor. A bit lucky to get it off right in the face of Batat, but still good enough to make it stick. Batat now coming out with the barrage in the pocket. Tor has the high noon, and those are going to be the critical ults here. On the other side, they've got a couple of things coming up that they may be able to cancel them out with, but really watch Batat here on the Pharah. This is going to be the play to watch.
Ooh, a nice play coming in from that, going over the top, getting a nice barrage, getting 2. Tor following it up with a nice Deadeye of their own, and that should be enough. It's just a Mercy being a little pest on point, trying to stave off for the longest time possible, but it's not gonna matter. Even Elton John can't save you there. Or sorry, Billy Joel is who sings the longest time. Oh my, oh no.
It's terrible.
Not
only is it a boomer reference, you've also boomed yourself in the process of the boomer reference. The graphitic flux coming up here, but it's a well-placed bob from Bill. The B-name Combine coming out early, but again, it's Batat just won't be stopped here on these flyers. Devastating all night long. The Dynamite coming over the top, trying to find a target, won't find anyone. Dude from Mars is down. Pumpkin here establishing dominance on the point. Batat again on the flyers has just found the kryptonite here for this Xenon side. They cannot muster a response to this, even as desperate as they try.
Well, they can't get these last couple picks, and they're going to be able to, they might be getting stalled out here. They might be getting 2 CP'd. Both tanks are down, however, just as I say that, and they should be getting these picks quick enough, and they do. It's going to be a really big time bank going into the overtime rounds here.
A very big tieback indeed. Crab Mafia, ever since Batat has really come online, Crab Mafia has just not looked bad, right? Like they didn't have a particularly good start, I think, coming out of the gate. Kings Row looked a bit rough on their defense, but man, we have not seen Batat playing at this kind of frequency of kills so far in this match, and started on Route 66, has definitely carried that magic over to Volskaya. And like I said at the tail end there, Xenon has just not been able to find an answer for this relentless aggression.
Yeah, and now we're going into these overtime rounds, which is going to be a lot more difficult for Xenon because they have such a smaller time bank than Crab Mafia. Only 1, maybe 2 good defenses from Crab Mafia, and this could be a tied series going into map 5. It's a minute and 3 seconds. That is not a lot of time to capture one point, let alone 2.
It is not. And again, there's a central core to this Crab Mafia setup here. Samsky and Pumpkin in particular are just going to be locking it down with the backing of Akumaru. It took a while for Xenon to sort of pick that pocket last time with this sort of diverse composition. I don't particularly see that changing this time, including the fact that Tor is on Ash, and it's just kind of been making life really difficult for Bill in general on the flyer.
As Bat already starting again with a nice pick onto Nacho. That Tracer is so integral to this composition. Getting into those backlines is, they need that, and it's not looking good for them right now. They've lost this fight pretty quickly, but if they lose any more people here now, they could have just lose their entire chance to push it, as they're gonna look. They might get this Devo very, very late here, Corbeck.
Yeah, the stagger is brutal with so little time left. 20 seconds on the clock, and they need to make something happen. Oh, that is just no good, losing him there. Dude from Mars, who's been playing really well throughout this entire series. A really unfortunate loss, but they're going to try and engage anyway with what they have in place.
Yeah, and it's going to be really hard without that Diva, like you said. You can't really do much within a 5v6 here. They're trying to get something doing. They're trying to get out Samsky, which is going to be that linchpin of this composition. They almost got him down. They might have done it. They've got a lot of damage on the Crab Mafia, but they just need to finish up the kills, and they've got one in their favor. But Batat is still in the sky, but it might have done it. They might have done it. They've got the kills necessary here, Korvac. They've got only 2 people remaining, but it is Batat on that Farah. But the direct coming in from Bill should be enough for them to win this out and get a new lease on life.
Beautiful shot, by the way, to just catch Batat there. To be fair, Batat was kind of just floating, but still impressive indeed. They're going to need to move fast here, though. You've got less than 30 seconds. In fact, now less than 20 seconds to really make it stick. You have 2 ults to use compared to just 1 on the side of Crab Mafia, and that barrage from Bill is going to have to be the biggest barrage that is ever barraged.
Yeah, well, it's not just that, but I was about to talk about Oliver having that Transcendence online, but it's not going to matter. Batat's going to use the barrage in the sky, getting the Farah, and that is going to, that looks like it's going to be enough for them to win this out. The self-destruct coming over the top from Dude, but it's not going to get anyone thanks to that nice immortality field from Akumaru, and that should be enough. It's going to be 3 points of progress for Xenon, and now Crab Mafia's attacking phase is coming up shortly.
Oh man, Xenon here probably in a little bit of concern. I don't think they quite saw this going this way after those first 2 maps. Crab Mafia on a resurgence, kind of on the wings of Batat, who has been on those flyers just absolutely cleaning up. We saw it perfectly illustrated right there as well. The barrage from above taking out his opposite number and denying a very critical barrage from Bill. And I mean, I think everybody who's ever played Overwatch has been in a situation like this where you have a Farah that's kind of just running all over you, or flying all over you, as I guess the case may be. And I mean, how do you shut that down? It's not an easy thing to shut down a pharmacy, even in this day and age. And it's obviously been a real test here for Xenon. They're coming out with Bill on the Junkrat, and that is a brave choice considering that Junkrat is sort of one of the natural plays, or preys, I should say, of a Farah. Nacho on the Soldier again. It's just, I don't know that a Soldier really is in a position, if they're not ulting, to be able to take down a pharmacy duo. That's a lot to ask from your Soldier player, no matter how good they are.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult for Nacho to deal with the Farah in the sky. They do have a Mercy pocket, it seems, for Nacho, but still, it's going to be a lot of ask for your Soldier player to do here, especially with it being such a big hold for them.
Oh, indeed. Batat just drifting in position. Really good early kill into Akumaru, though.
Yeah, Akumaru going down, all the healing gone in the world for Crab Mafia. Bill chunked down a little bit too much, but still going to be healed up quickly thereafter, and we're just going to see Crab Mafia holding and waiting.
Look at them putting resources now into Batat to just enable him. They're using bubbles on him. They've got the Mercy pocket. He's got a beautiful kill, and that probably cracks this first point.
Yeah, as Tor gets in on the kills as well. The res is there onto Bill, but Kaiser goes down immediately afterwards. And that should, like you said, crack this defense wide open. Tor is getting in on these kills, as long with Batat and this should be a very quick time bank, first point A capture. And they still got 2 minutes and 33 seconds to go.
They do indeed have 2 minutes and 33 seconds. Gonna take a miracle here for Xenon to pull out this hold. Is it doable? Yes. Is it gonna be easy? No, definitely not. Good kill to start things off. You don't see that very often.
Definitely not. Maybe you got a little bit too low, unlike Icarus flying too low to the ground, as Tor goes down as well. Blue Pixel gets Bill, but they just fall off the side of the map to reset here.
It's a petulant kill, really. I mean, honestly, the respawn advantage sort of renders it moot. And, well, the first thrust staved off here, but look at the ults that are coming online. Batat with the barrage. You're nearly at Tor with the Death Blossom, and Akumaru coming into with this damage amplification matrix. Bill will have a tire, and if he uses it correctly, he could kill this push dead. A lot gonna ride on this.
Yeah, here comes the Riptire over the top, looking to get someone. They don't know where it is yet, but now they've definitely now seen it. The immortality field is there, and it almost gets it. But it doesn't matter, as 2 more kills going in favor of Xenon. They're gonna have to back up and regroup.
And we sort of missed it there because there was a lot going on in the chaos, but Batat was trying to come through there with the barrage. Instead, it got shut down. So they've lost that ult. They nearly have Blue Pixel up on one. They nearly have Death Blossom, and they do actually still have Akumaru's Amplification Matrix. But there's an Amp Matrix on the other side, a very similar ult spread here, but this is going to be a big fight.
Yeah, Bill Tart takes the, down the Tat again, as Blue Pixel does take out Bill yet again. We've seen this before, but the Tac Visor is out from Nacho, trying to keep people away. They do get Blue Pixel in, and as another easy team fight win for the side of Xenon. It's down to 30 seconds left, and it's not looking too good, but there's ultimates coming online for Crab Mafia.
This might sound harsh, but I think that res at the end there for the Reinhardt getting Samsky back up might have been a bit of a mistake. It prevented them from getting an earlier regroup. A lot too on the damage bongo here. This is going to have to be big.
Yeah, the self-destruct coming in from Door, from Dude from Mars. That's going to be massive. The Mercy is gone. The Graviton Surge is there. The Death Blossom gets 1, but it's not going to be enough. And I think we've seen it. Draw Skya has come to fruition, as we are going to see a draw. And we're still going to go to a map 5.
Yes, we will still see a map 5. It is 1st to 3 here, but Crab Mafia obviously has to feel a little bit frustrated right there. It looked like everything was going their way, but just a couple of really solid little engages there from Xenon.